Hello to everyone. And we're making this video in order to share all this experience we had with this Pinata project that just recently happened. For all of you who doesn't know me, my name is Jeysson Alexander Diego Montufar. I am an English teacher in a school in Chimaltenango whose that name of the school is IMBO, which means Instituto Mixto Valle de los Olivos. I also teach some art there, and that is why today we're recording this video in order to share what were the skills that all these students learned during this activity. So all of this started many months ago, in which I was having dinner with a friend. His name is Gavin, and I was telling him my thoughts about doing a different project for this year with the school and the students. And then all of a sudden he said, "Oh, well, I've seen these piñatas in the city. What about making some paintings on the piñatas?" So it was a little bit difficult for me to start thinking about it. However, I got the idea in my mind, and then we said yes, to that project. And all of this started that way. I brought the idea to Chimaltenango. I talked to the principal. We had a small meeting, not only with them, but with the students. And I presented this idea to them, in which they said immediately yes to this project too, because they know that this kind of activities brings a lot of skills, not only for the students, but also for the teachers. So one day, as usual, we got to the city to get a couple of stuff, for not only for me but for someone else. So we were going to this place in zone 1 trying to see a piñata provider, and all of a sudden we stopped at one or two places, if I'm not mistaken. However, one of them caught our attention, so we stopped there. We talked to this provider, and he said that he can make all the piñatas the way we want it, how tall we want it, how beautiful we want it, so he can create all these structures for us. So we had a good chatting with him, and he was saying that basically they're a big group of family that are working in that company. So that's the way they're making money too. And we would it was really good for us because we were helping them by buying the piñatas. It was really interesting because I talked to him, and then I asked him how much time he needed to make the piñatas, and he said, "Well, just give me a week and I can get them all ready for you." That's what I did. So we went to the city a couple of other times just to see them, and he was working with all these piñatas. And then in order to bring them to Chimaltenango, I had to hire a person who had a car, basically to bring 10 piñatas to Chimaltenango. I remember one Saturday, I just had to leave Antigua so early because he didn't answer the phone, mainly because he was working on the piñatas and all these little details he was missing. So I got there and he said, "Here are your piñatas." I saw them all in line. Basically, they were really, really beautiful. And then I was just waiting for this person who was coming to the city and take them all the way to Chimaltenango. So we put all the piñatas in the car, and then we took them to Chimaltenango. I was chatting with the driver, just in order not to feel uncomfortable all the way there. And it took us kind of like 1 hour and 30 minutes to get to Chimaltenango. All those students, they saw the piñatas. They were asking me, "Are we gonna have a big party?" And I said, "No, actually this is a new activity for you." Okay, so I just created a presentation for all of them to understand what we were supposed to do on the piñatas. We call them the naked piñatas, by the way. So I presented it to them, I showed them a lot of pictures. Kind of like in the past, I think we had this bear party here, in which we walked around and we saw all these birds painted on different paintings. So that's what I showed them, and they liked the idea. Then I organized a little event here in Antigua, Guatemala, in which I brought all these students. Basically, they were around 30 students. So we brought them to Aruma, which is a small gallery on First, which we really like. We met the owner, and they were actually helping us by teaching them all this art they have in the gallery. Then secondly, we took them to Munang. However, we had a small time to have some snacks, which they all loved. I saw them all just taking out all these snacks they brought. They were having fun in Antigua. And not only them, but the principal and a couple of other teachers joined us to have all of this experience too. So we took them also to Munang, and we spent kind of like 2 hours there. Wow, what a wonderful, wonderful experience by being there, you know, because they had no idea what we could find in those museums. They saw a lot of different paintings in which then they were sharing their experiences. They loved all of this activity. After that, we went to this Corporación Española, in which we went to see all these photographic murals and other things like that. And then finally we took them to Panza Verde to see this small gallery they have there. And then we brought them to Taiwan because my friend Gavin actually shared the meal for all of them, arranged the meal for all of them. So I brought them here, and not only that, before the meal I shared them all around the restaurant, in which they could see all this modern art, in which they liked it too. Then we had our meal, in which we spent probably 2 hours, you know, sharing all this experience they had at the galleries and museums. Once we had this experience here in Antigua, I took them, we went back to Chimaltenango. And a week later, I asked them to start drawing something that they learned from this activity, which many of them started drawing these sketches. My gosh, I think they changed their minds, because that's actually what I wanted. So I didn't see like volcanoes, I didn't see like trees or birds. Actually, they were painting really, really good stuff on those things. I told them basically that I needed them to start sharing what they think and what they want, basically, on the piñatas, because the piñatas belong to them now. So they said, it is all yours, you can do whatever you want at the piñatas, but let's think, didn't make volcanoes. And that's what I got, different sketches in which I really, really got excited, you know, just to see after this whole trip we had. Well, this project had lent me a lot, basically a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience. I learned a lot from my students. I learned a lot from all these people who surrounded me a lot during this activity by helping me. However, let me tell you this. Actually, when I just gave the piñatas to the students, they fell in love with the piñatas because they were thinking that we were going to do something like just painting them or just dress them. However, they were all trying to share techniques in order to paint the piñatas. And not only that, but they were taking turns in order to paint the piñatas. You can see them, just one of them laying on the floor trying to paint the legs. Some others were painting their body, and some others were painting the head or something else, you know. It took us a long time, but it was a great experience I had. Something else that I like about this project that is going on here is that, you know, by sharing all of these things with them, they get creative. I bought them their brushes they needed, I bought them all the paintings they needed, and something else they needed. However, as I said before, they got creative because one group who was led by a great guy, student basically, he created this kind of glue that he used with his group and he shared with his friends in order to make all the piñatas stronger enough so they can hold all this paint as we added to the piñatas. So we were running out of time. They were asking me for more time to do this activity because they really fell in love with it. They enjoyed it. To tell you the truth, they were getting together and painting all of these things at school when they didn't have to come to the school. But that's the desire they had in order to finish it. That's something that they wanted. Okay, so the time has ended. The time to present all of this piñata project has arrived. And then they were just trying to fix all these little details that they wanted, and they just presented it to me. The principal was next to me in order to see all this final project, which I really loved because I took pictures of all of them and then I shared with them. However, I asked them about their experiences during the project, and many of them told me that they really enjoyed working as a team, which is one of the principal things that I wanted to happen. Some others were saying or giving names to the piñata. Some others were sharing about some other experiences they had during the whole process. Finally, they presented all of this not only to us, to me and the principal, but to all their friends at school, to all the students. They really fell in love with them. They were just asking me if we will do this again next year. However, it is not something easy to do, but we made it. So then we invited all their parents to see what they have done, and they also liked it. We actually had to vote for the first place, second place, and the third place. I wanted to give them something that they really would use and they would really enjoy, in which I bought them also some brushes and some pencils and some other things that they will use, as I said before, for the first, second, and third place. One last thing that I would like to share with you all is that after all of this project happened, principal was satisfied with all of these things that they presented, and she asked us to paint murals all around the school, which we are doing now. They are really having fun by painting now. They don't want to leave the school. Thank you very much for all these people who have supported all of these projects. Not the first one, but I think you will continue helping out not only me, but some other peoples out there. Actually, it was a great experience to live with my students and as me as a person, because it helped me a lot. I just want to thank you all for making this project happen. It was a nice experience. Hope to see you soon.